Hello, everybody. I'm Lata Subramanian. I'm Senior VP of Data and Analytics at GM Financial. I have been here for close to 2 years, and we are a subsidiary of GM, and we do auto financing for all GM cars. I've been with the company for 2 years. It's been a wonderful journey thus far. And previously, I have worked in several different industry verticals, leading data and analytics and multi-million-dollar data programs. Very excited to be here today and also partnering with Rick Whitford, who is going to be working alongside with me, and we'll be presenting the fireside chat today.
Good morning, everybody. Rick Whitford. I am a principal at Deloitte. I lead the auto AI and engineering practice. Been in the captive finance world for going on 15 years or so. Been a big partner of both GM and GM Financials for the last 4 or 5 years. So excited to do something with you guys this morning and have a little chat. We're going to do a little bit different. Instead of a straight presentation, we're going to do a little bit of a back and forth fireside chat and then open up for questions. So real quick overview. GMF has been on a digital journey, modernization journey over the last few years. It's really about rapidly transitioning from a siloed infrastructure into a more cloud-based modern architecture. We've partnered with them over the majority of the journey to help them get there, particularly as we focused on moving from legacy systems onto Databricks. So with that, we'll get right to it. So for context, Lata, can you please provide a little bit of background on some of the GMF legacy data stores, what you guys were dealing with, and then what was the impetus to move to something like Databricks?
Absolutely. So GMF has multiple disparate sources of data, and we had several antiquated servicing and loan origination systems, and also our ERP systems were on-prem. And about 2 to 3 years ago, we made a decision to go on a digital transformation program. And definitely, as you know, data is heart and center of all digital transformation. We decided to embark on our data cloud modernization journey. So we started with Deloitte, and we had a small MVP prior to 2022, and it was immensely successful. We launched our first success story with MDM, as well as 3 use cases for servicing, CX, and marketing. And in the last year, we built our business case and embarked on the 2.5, 3-year journey. And we are in right now year 1 of our 3-year journey. The reason we decided to modernize was because we had disparate sources of data, multiple versions of the truth. We wanted to make sure that we could scale and innovate for growth, be able to do machine learning and Gen AI very easily, empower our business users with modern data tools, and also relentlessly automate all of our systems so that we can allow our business users to then innovate, because if you don't automate, you can't free up time to innovate. So those were some of the key drivers that led us to a digital data transformation journey.
I love it. I'll tell you, even personally, this has been like a full circle for my career. Some of the technologies that I did early in my career were what we were helping to retire over the last couple of years with you guys between Hadoop and Exadata, SAS, and et cetera. So it's been just a big circle of life, I guess, in the technology journey. So to that, how did you guys decide which data to migrate and when? Did you work with the business at all? How did you prioritize based on use case? Can you kind of go in a little bit of detail on that?
Absolutely. Our journey or our data program is called Data Evolution 360. 360 because you can see the 360 degree view of your data, and evolution from the word project evolve, which is, as you know, GM makes a lot of EV cars. So that's how we got the name Data Evolution 360 for the curious. The D360 journey, as we like to call it, is an excellent partnership between the business and information technology. We worked very closely with our Data Evolution 360 sponsors to decide how we are going to build that product roadmap after we got our business case approved. And some of the things we thought about was, let's do the business units that give us the most bang for a buck or where we can make more money. So we started with servicing, which was at the heart and soul of all of our business units. So we started with the servicing data first. Secondly, there were other major drivers that caused us to shift left on the product roadmap. The first one was that our company modernized our HR systems. We went from 8 different disparate HR systems to one People Connect Oracle system, as well as we are planning a huge Oracle Cloud Financials delivery on September 1st. So those were some of the drivers that made us plan servicing cloud financials and people data in this year. So I would say that our decision was a very collaborative decision, which is governed by our enterprise data strategy board. And so the business and IT work very closely in collaboration to ensure that we are adhering to the product roadmap.
I love that. And there's 2 things in there that I think are super important to make sure that we emphasize. First was the partnership with the business was huge. And then the ability to shift left if needed, right? So like it wasn't a 3-year product roadmap that was put together on when we're going to move data. But as things with the business changed, we in the program and you were able to work with the rest of the executive team to make decisions on to slide things left and right. So I think that's huge. So it wasn't the old school monolithic IT program.
Yes.
So more into that vein, let's talk, hot topic that's been for a while, data governance. So how are we implementing it? How are you doing that? And what have been the results? And can you kind of actually put it in a little bit of the business terms too? How are they taking to it?
We set up a well-defined enterprise data strategy board and data governance framework very early on in our data cloud migration journey. So at the introduction of DE360, as we were building the business case, our enterprise data strategy board or data governance framework has an enterprise data strategy board, which comprises of all of GMF and its subsidiaries and the E-team for that. We have a data governance office, which has representation from cyber, privacy, legal, so that we are adhering to all the regulations facing the auto financing industry. And as you know, data is a shared global function. We set up business data steering committees so we can be in touch with our customers and provide regular bidirectional updates to them on data and some salient program updates. And I think the biggest thing for us has been setting up a data stewardship program. We set up an enterprise data glossary and we mastered over 2,000 plus definitions in it. We have a large data stewardship pilot and we are actually working with our customers to ensure we have business data owners and our business is taking responsibility for that data and they can find their single source of truth as they go about their reporting and analytics. So all of those things have played a big role in helping us adopt data governance and ensuring that the data owns their data and they are actually trying to get the best use out of it.
That's awesome, and that actually kind of moves into our next question, right? So like, given the amount of change, and I think it's important, so a little bit of context for folks that don't know, GMF started out as a small company and was purchased by GM and is now a much larger company, and with that, there's been an epic amount of change over the last decade and a half, just from a growing up, the amount of business that you're doing, the systems that are involved, the scale that's there, and so with that, with all of this that's going on, how are you actually partnering with the business and the end users to make sure that people feel like they know what's going on, that they have the right skills, that their teams feel like they're part of this transition?
It takes a village to transform the organization. And I will say this, we are trying to tackle it from multiple fronts. The first thing we have done is we have set up this interest in Power BI. So we have Power BI days where we are partnering with Microsoft and they're coming on board to help us help our customers understand what's next on the Power BI product roadmap and helping the organization drive Power BI adoption. We've set up an amazing Databricks Center of Excellence, which focuses on training and adoption. We have upskilled several of our business partners on Databricks. We have several programs and training content that we have curated with the help of Databricks and our internal GMF IT folks. And we continue to deliver training, and we are trying to increase adoption across the organization. We are also working very closely on FinOps. We have a very well-established FinOps practice. We have set up office hours for our data evolution, our cloud migration journey. So every other Thursday, we educate our business partners on where we are on the journey. They come and ask us questions. And something that we are innovating right now is we are building a Data Evolution 360 chatbot. So that got approved a few weeks ago, and I think that's going to be a game changer in helping our business partners adopt Databricks, help adopt all the new technologies, and be able to drive adoption for cloud across the company.
I love that. And I also love using the technology we're moving to in order to start solving some of that problems. That's awesome. So with that, what were some of the initial use cases that were implemented on Databricks, and what is some of the impact and ROI to the business been and to your teams?
Our business cases, so when we started prior to 2022, the MVP phase, we had 3 business use cases. The first one was on servicing for optimizing delinquent accounts. The second one was on customer experience and enhancing the customer experience journey. And the third one was for marketing. And we overlaid that with the Customer 360, which is the golden source of truth for customers, which is MDM. Looking past that MVP, we have successfully bought a lot of the projects that organically did not grow in the DE360 umbrella into the DE360 ecosystem. For example, GM Protections, Fleet, More Data Lakehouse, which was our direct lending project. So we've built this umbrella and ecosystem of projects, and our business case, which is set over a multi-million-dollar roadmap over 3 years, has us reaching up to a net benefit of close to 14 million. But I would say we are starting to realize a lot of the savings already because of some of the great things we are working on right now with People Connect, Cloud Financials, direct lending, and all of those programs that are right now underway.
I love that. And as a math stats guy by trade, I think this was amazing, and working with a bunch of the accountants on the GMF side. When we put the use cases together and the business cases, there was a lot of scrutiny over like making sure the IRR and the end ROI would pay for itself. And I think it's come even quicker, to your point, than what we ever thought it was going to in the original sort of MVP phase, where we were hoping we'd break even at like the 3-year mark. And I think now we are paying for a lot of to your point, to your new use cases, because that money was there, and we're seeing the savings versus what you were spending on the on-prem services.
Yeah. We have so many rich sources of data that I think with Gen AI and machine learning, we can innovate faster, and I think we can exceed and increase our ROI if we play our cards right.
100% agree. And I think that's actually the great thing is that's changing the conversation at your executive level in your E-team or in your C-suite to having a little bit different outlook on some of these projects. So with that, why did you guys choose Databricks? Why we're here? Why was Databricks the top choice? And what are some of the features that you're using and why, and especially some of the cooler, newer ones?
Yeah, we work for GMF. As you know, we are a subsidiary of GM. So we have a great partnership with GM where they pass on quite few deep discounts to us. So it just made sense to adopt Databricks and Azure and kind of call that our own. And not to mention that Databricks is the industry leader in data lakehouse and open data formats and all of that. So those were some of the plus points that made us consider Databricks. I would say from a Databricks capabilities perspective, we implemented serverless SQL, DLT tables, a Unity catalog, RBAC, and several core features. We also leverage all of their advanced engineering and ML workload features, and then some of their privacy and security features. Looking ahead at the horizon, I think we are seriously trying to explore serverless warehouse, which I think most of the folks are. So we would like to go serverless as well. So that's something that we have had multiple pilots on, but have not completely embraced it. We have to plan that journey out. The second thing I would say is AI BI. We ran a pilot on that too with a couple of our customers, and we got some pretty candid feedback from them on what worked and what didn't work. So I think in the next couple of months, we are really going to double down on rolling out AI BI.
Yeah, I love it. We were chatting a little bit this morning before this. I think one of the other things that I'm proud of for your team and us working with you is 2 years back, I think we were like customer number one of rolling out encrypted endpoints. When it became GA, it was a big thing just given the data privacy issues with you guys that was rolled out as soon as it went GA. I think Unity Catalog is a huge one that I think the team's doing a great job of taking full advantage of. So it's good stuff, and I can't wait to see what we can do from a speed and cost savings perspective with serverless.
Yes.
So, with that, if looking back now the last couple of years and some of the road bumps, because we've had a few, what are some of the advice that you would give other executives or other folks that are looking to go down a similar journey to go, whole force moving from some sort of legacy data stores, on-prem silos to this more modern lakehouse architecture? Any sort of thoughts?
I would say the first thing is set up data governance, very important. You need to have executive project sponsorship, program sponsorship for your project. That is extremely important. All decisions need to come top down, and there needs to be a committee that's making the decisions and providing some oversight and governance. So I think that's very important. And I think we are settling in there with a very well-defined enterprise data strategy board and data governance framework. The second one is we took our entire organization of 200 some people and took them through adopting agile methodologies in the last year, and that has proven to be immensely successful for us, because unless you go agile and you decide to deliver in increments, you're not going to have the transparency into your product backlog, and you will not be able to increase velocity. So being agile and adopting agile methodologies and best practices is extremely important and critical. The third thing I would say is organization change management. Training and adoption is super important because you have to bring people and process along on the journey. Technology is just an enabler. It's very important to help people understand several different ways the same message and bring it home to them. And I think we have done a lot with training and adoption, but I feel like we could do a lot more with change management, but change management has definitely been a game changer for us. And lastly, I would say when it comes to engineering and taking your data to the cloud and the data cloud transformation journey that we are part of, think about hybrid options to do the work. You can either lift and shift or you can re-engineer. So all of those are good options. So you have to decide your rubric on when you want to lift and shift, and that makes sense, or when you want to re-engineer and optimize. But definitely try to scale back and reduce technical debt before you get to the cloud, because if you don't optimize and take out the redundancies, you will be taking your data that your data will be unusable on the cloud. So those are some of my advice to people who are embarking on this data cloud journey.
I love that, and particularly the last one. I think you and I and our teams collectively have a weekly conversation even on the lift and shift versus re-engineer, And again, I love the agile sort of methodology terms too, because it's constantly like every workload, everything that we're looking at is what's the value of completely re-engineering this? What's it, is it worth it, or do we just lift and shift, and is it worth that work? And so I think, again, that's been a huge one, is being able to move that scale a little bit, workload dependent, and making sure the value's there. So it's awesome. So with that, that was kind of the end of our little back and forth. Would love to open it up to general Q&A. If anybody has any questions, particularly on the journey on any of the technologies that GMF has used, please.